So Sonic Racing Crossroads coming out. How's it going, everyone? My name is Jason, and as you told from the intro and, the title, Sonic Racing Crossworlds coming out, and it seems to be bigger than ever, which is just like really insane. So, when I first mentioned Sonic Racing Crossroads, it was my Jason's Final Thoughts Parts 1 and 2. They were both going to be the whole video, but I digress. And when I first heard it, I personally was genuinely excited. But I'm getting ahead of myself. What is Sonic Racing Crossroads? Well, just for starters, I don't have a script, so this is going off script, but hey, what else is new? I'm never coherent. So let's just go ahead and talk about what Sonic Racing Crossroads is probably gonna entail. So on December 2nd of last year, the Game Awards came on, and it showcased so many games, and quite frankly, I really didn't care. Look, I'm not huge on reward shows or anything, and I just like looking at the recaps, seeing who won, and just moving on from there. I never really cared for these Game Awards. I mean, the one time where I stuck with the Game Awards was during the year when Fire Emblem Three Houses actually won the award. Hey, that's great, that's awesome. But they were just too long for me, and it just featured games that genuinely I don't really care for. That is, until there was one trailer to pretty much signal off the year of Shadow the Hedgehog. Now, the year of Shadow the Hedgehog was a fun year, guys. Let's just say that. Like, IRL, the year was kind of whatever, but in terms of video games, just video games, it was a top tier year. There were so many great games out there, so many great medias. Sonic X Shadow Generations was awesome. Sonic Movie 3 was fantastic. There were lots of game announcements like Super Mario Party Jamboree coming out, I believe, like a year before or after Sonic X Shadow Generations. So I got to experience both of those games, and both of those games I really liked. So honestly, 2024 with video games was a very, very good year. But then to signal off the year of Shadow, there was this 30-second teaser trailer of Sonic Racing Crossworlds. When I first saw that, I was like, oh great, another Sonic mobile game, which I don't care about, because I'm not gonna be around the bush. I don't play much mobile games nowadays. Some of them just they don't catch my interest, and most of them are gacha games. And one of the bigger problems, some of the games, if you're somewhere that doesn't have any Wi-Fi or just has no service, you can't really play any of these games. So that's why I don't really bother with mobile games nowadays. But until I saw near the end of the teaser trailer, which kind of showed nothing but still gave us a bigger picture, it showed that Sonic Racing Crossroads was Crossroads. I'm gonna say Crossroads instead of Crossworlds, so if I do that, I apologize. But Sonic Racing Crossworlds was coming on all major platforms: PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and for me, Nintendo Switch. So I got excited. Look, I'm a huge kart racing fan, cause I play games like Mario Kart. Mario Kart's my game. The Sonic racing games, like Sonic the All-Stars Racing. I mean, I tried playing a little bit of Sonic Riders, and I enjoy some of them. I really get a kick out of Zero Gravity. Maybe I'll talk about Zero Gravity sometime in the future, but I digress. I really like car racing games, and as the days passed by and all the news articles were talking about it, it turns out that Sumo Digital, the one that made the last few Sonic racing games, wasn't actually going to be part of this but instead it's actually going to be part of a company that, well, does arcade racers and like the Initial D arcade racers. I haven't played the Initial D racers because none of them kind of exist where I am from, but like it will be different, and it just shows in the beta test, which we'll talk about later. Speculations come out. People were thinking about, oh, what does this trailer offer? Like, it's just Shadow in a car and are going through like a ring, and that's it. People have noticed a little bit of Easter eggs in the trailer, which came out to be true. And then 2 months later, on February 12th, which is 3 days after my birthday, Sonic and Sega released a trailer for the PlayStation State of Play. Again, a event that I didn't really watch myself. Look, I'm more about Nintendo Directs, Sonic Centrals, all that. If I was more of a Sony fan, I would definitely tune into these, but I never really did. But on that day, Sega released 2 trailers, from what I know. A new Shinobi game, which is awesome, because we get to see Joe Musashi again. But the subject of the video, the announcement trailer for Sonic Racing Crossworlds. And let me just say, this trailer was fantastic. Like, so much. Out of all the, I think 2 minutes? Yeah, 2 minutes. So much was revealed to us. And so many comments were overwhelmingly positive. To the point where, oh yeah, where people were like, oh yeah, they're cooking. You know that whole talk about like, oh, they're cooking? Well, yes, they are absolutely cooking. Like mentioned, so many things were revealed in this one trailer. And actually, the day before this, there were actually leaks from Twitter, oh great, about the game. There was like, what looked to be like the title screen or something. And then also like 2 different pictures. I'm not going to go into what the leaks are at the moment, but yeah, people don't know how to keep their mouth shut. But going back to the trailer, it showed just how amazing this game was. I'm not going to go over the entire trailer, but the highlights include Sage being a playable character, and Eggpon being playable. The Chaotix, SBO and Charmy being playable. Cream is back being playable. Jet and also the Babylon Rogues are playable. And the 2 things that caught pretty much everybody's eye when they saw this trailer. The Extreme Gears are back, and Dinosaur Jungle from Secret Rings makes an appearance. Like, literally, those 2 things in the trailer, that's what people really talked about. Like, everybody during that teaser trailer was wondering what's behind that sheet where Shadow's car was. And so many people speculated that the Extreme Gear was behind it, and boom! In the trailer, we see Jet and Sonic on Extreme Gear. Which could mean pretty much any character can ride Extreme Gears and cars. And that was something I actually wanted. Like, if they're gonna show us cars in Extreme Gear, let everybody use both. Like, people always wonder, oh, let's have cars, or oh, let's have Extreme Gear. And I'm like, why not have both? And that's what they did. So, yeah, like, this trailer was fantastic. I think my favorite moments from this trailer was seeing Sage and Cream playable, Sage being her playable debut, and Cream being playable after so long. Okay, minus Sonic Dream Team, not a lot of people played Sonic Dream Team, like myself included, because it was on it was on a mobile. But not counting mobile, just counting the modern consoles, when was the last time Cream was playable? Like, it's been so long. And it's just, like, very crazy that it took them this long to finally include Cream. Hell, she wasn't in Team Sonic Racing, which I'll get to. But what I got from this trailer, I got a few things regarding the characters. And these are a little bit fun facts that most of you have noticed. So if you have noticed, everybody, like all the main characters or contributing characters from Sonic Heroes are in the game. All of the teams, including Eggman and Metal Sonic, and they added an Egg Pond, which, hey, I wouldn't mind. We need a random crazy slot. So hey, like, go nuts with Egg Pond, I guess. Yeah. So it was just like really like that whole trailer was. Oh yeah. So yeah, we also got the Babylon Rogues back. So I think, minus the Sega characters and the E1000 series, all of the Sonic Riders characters are actually playable. In Team Sonic Racing, the Chow are the only ones not playable, which kind of sucks, but hey. And honestly, see, like, this roster alone completely makes up the game. And to give more leeway, if you go to their sites, it says Sonic and Sega characters are gonna be in this mix, and that literally won me over. Like, they're including Sega characters along with Sonic characters. This is awesome. Also, if you get like the digital deluxe version, you get Sonic Prime characters, which I'll get to Sonic Prime characters. I have, for me, I'll get to Sonic Prime when I talk about the characters and my thoughts for the predictions. But yeah, so yeah, again, the trailer was great. It really hyped up for the game, and in their website, they announced on February 19th or the February 20th, a closed beta test was gonna ensue, where people who participated got to play a little bit of the game for online, to test online, whether if there's like feedbacks, like any glitches or whatnot. And I think that's really cool. Beta closed tests are a great way of trying out online. I do have one problem. With the closed beta test, but ultimately this is literally just a me thing. And so yeah. Overall, the announcement trailer, it was great, and it really gets us hyped for the game. So now, how about we talk about the closed beta test for a little bit? So, before we get started, I should just let you all know, I couldn't participate in the closed beta test from the get-go, because it was only people that had PlayStation 5s, and even then, only a select few got to play the closed beta. But I did watch some people play the game, and I'll give my thoughts on it when we get there. So, for the people who didn't play, or didn't see anything, who was featured? Well, the closed beta only had like a few characters and tracks from the get-go. And the characters that were in there were Sonic, Shadow, Eggman, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Omega, Cream, and Zavok. Those were the characters that were featured in a closed beta. Now, okay. I think that is around 9 characters? Yeah, 9 characters. 9 characters, which is a fair amount. No. And the tracks, which we'll get to, and the tracks, which I forgot to actually mention during the announcement trailer, that one of the core mechanics of this game was the addition of Crossworlds, where during the first lap, it's just a normal main track, And then the second lap is a whole new world, a whole new place, with which are the Crossworlds. And then lap 3 is back to the main tracks, but like everything is changed. And that is a cool concept. One thing came to mind, like a lot of people like to compare it to the Race of Ages tracks from Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. But for some reason, I kind of thought of Stage Morph a little bit from Smash Bros. Ultimate, where you're on one stage, and after a few minutes, the stages switch, which is actually a really cool feature that is very underutilized. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, going back to the closed beta, the tracks that were in the closed beta were East Stadium, Rainbow Garden, Wonder Museum, Metal Harbor from Sonic Adventure 2, Ocean View from All-Stars Racing Transformed and Team Sonic Racing, and Water Palace from Sonic Rush. That is an interesting track, that is actually a really interesting track. And as for the Crossworlds, we have Kraken Bay, Magma Planet / Lava Caves, Dinosaur Jungle from Secret Rings. Oh, by the way, Magma Planet is from a Sega game called Galaxy Force, so new back there. So yeah, Dinosaur Jungle, again I mentioned, from Secret Rings. Roulette Road from the original Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, but has been completely changed. And Sky Road from Team Sonic Racing. So yeah. Also in the trailers and screenshots, there were actually 2 tracks that didn't make it in. There's a track called Chow Park, I think, which was only shown in the trailers. I'm guessing that would be like a main... I'm predicting that's going to be like a main track. And Radical Highway, which wasn't in the trailers, I don't think, but was in screenshots. I think that might be a Crossworlds. That might be a Crossworlds because with Black Doom and everything. The closed beta gave a lot of things, and judging from the look of it, I love the presentation of this game. Everything looks gorgeous. I think they're using Unreal Engine 3, I believe, and it looks gorgeous. The character models, expressive. The animations, lively. Like, you can literally see everybody's, expressiveness. Like, here was actually something from the closed beta test that I thought would get on a lot of people's nerves, and I believe it did, but I never really heard it got on anyone's nerves. And that is the different, like, voice lines during the race. Like, you know, everybody kept making, like, jokes and now memes of Sonic doing, like, good, great, jammin', or good, not jammin', or whatnot, which is, I think, a reference to SA2's, like, bonus point score for the stage. Yes, but honestly, I personally find that amusing. And look, let's be real. Mario Kart had this. Mario Kart's had characters like expressing and doing repeat voice lines. So yeah, but I think I really enjoy Cream's delivery because, like, the amount of chaos that goes on. However, her, even throughout all this chaos, going yay, yippee, and whatnot, it's just so goddamn adorable. And it's just so adorable. I don't know why. But so, as most people noticed from the closed beta version, and it was only cars but no extreme gears, which I think they're trying to save, which is fine. However, if they are, maybe they're doing it for another closed beta test, which would be really cool if they had another closed beta test, but just with extreme gears, and maybe have it on all platforms so they can test out crossplay. But that's besides the point. I still think it's I still think like the closed beta is actually it was really cool to watch. Unfortunately, so many people have said there are two things that are like that kind of take away from Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Overall, the closed beta test has been really positive. Many people love playing the game. However, there are like two things that that are said about the closed beta test that needs to be fixed. Number one, and this is the most important one, and I think Sega will hear this and they will probably fix it because of how many people say this. Yeah, the item balancing needs to be very overhauled. Like, there are so many items anyways, but which is cool because like variety, but like some of the items are just way too good. But one item that comes to mind when I see that is like way too good for what it is the slicer. Like, it's like the slicer slices the car in half, or the machine in half, because that's what they're calling it, which allows them to drop their items and also slow down for a brief moment. I think that is way too good. I think that's way too good and should be less common. Because we already got like red shell type enemies, like the rockets and the homing missiles. They seem like red shell esque items already. So having the slicer, I think it's like way too good. I'm not saying to get rid of it entirely. I think the slicer could be a really cool item concept, but like lower the frequency of it. A lot of people also say like the monster truck might be too overpowered or too underpowered. No, I think I like the I think I do like the monster truck. Yeah, the monster truck. Also, wisps come back, and I think wisps are cool. And sorry about that, I had a phone call. But anyways, item distribution. So yeah, I think the item distribution and like item balancing needs like a huge overhaul. But that's like a huge common problem with the beta test, and Sega wanted the people who done it their feedback, so that's pretty much what people are gonna be writing, and so I think that'll be fixed. However, the second major problem, and I kind of wanted to discuss about this just a brief bit before we get to my like predictions or wants, and that is the music isn't as good as many people will say. And okay, my thoughts on the music. I think the music is half and half, and I'll explain why. For once, I want to go to Team Sonic Racing again, because so many people like to compare Team Sonic Racing. Whenever people talked about Sonic Racing Crossworlds, people kept bringing up about Team Sonic Racing, to the point where people are literally to the point where I think people are just calling it like a bad racing game, which I don't think it's a bad racing game. I've played Team Sonic Racing and I enjoyed it, but I will admit the content was bare bones. There was content, but again, it was kind of bare bones. It's like seriously though, only 15 characters, and and after the adventure mode, besides like the Eggman levels, you don't get anything else from adventure mode. Not a new team. All the team is from the get-go. No new cosmetics, like nothing. Which I will admit is kind of a down. Like, probably kind of like, ugh. However, if there is one thing that you cannot deny about Team Sonic Racing, it had a fantastic OST. Easily one of the top OSTs in the entire franchise. However, I'm just going to say this right now. Sonic Racing Crossworlds OST is nowhere near as good as Team Sonic Racing's. However, I don't think it's that bad. Like, okay, because, like, I don't think it's all that bad. It's, there's actually some OSTs in the game that I actually really like. Like, Wonder Museum was great. I like the lap 3 version of Water Palace. Yeah, unfortunately no back-to-back remix, which is kind of upsetting, but hey. Like I liked some of the set pieces music. I like Ocean View. I like Ocean View, Roulette Road, and Sky Road's remixed OST. Like these are actually really good. Hell, I like the main theme of Sonic Racing Crossworlds so far. And I know most people don't really like the chanting in the lap 3s. I never minded it. I actually welcome it. It makes it seem like there's actually a crowd watching and cheering the characters on. And I like that type. I like that inclusion. However, while I don't think the OST is bad, some of the stages, in my opinion, as of what we see, is kind of unmemorable. Like E Stadium, Rainbow Garden, like those tracks. Like I don't really like right now. I don't really remember the melodies for those. Okay, maybe it's because those are the ones I looked at the least, but I don't know. I don't remember most of those. They don't really stand out to me. And I think that's why people don't really like the OST, because it's just not unmemorable. It's just really unmemorable. However, like, this is just a beta test. There's gonna be more tracks that we don't even know that's gonna be existing. Maybe Chow Parker Radical Highway is gonna be awesome. Like, we'll see. But yeah, however, I think this is a really good beta test. And I think I've done the beta test. I've done going over the reviews. I think let's get to the part where we really need to discuss my thoughts, predictions, and on what the characters, tracks, and others are gonna be for Sonic Racing Crossworlds. So, let's start this thoughts and predictions session with talking about what pretty much a lot of people like in these racing games, the character roster. So right now, the trailer has revealed and the website has revealed 23 characters. Has actually revealed 23 characters. These characters are Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Cream, Big, Shadow, Rouge, Omega, Vector, Espio, Charmy, Jet, Wave, Storm, Silver, Blaze, Zavok, Zaz, Eggman, and Sage. Okay, that didn't really tire me out. I just wanted to be dramatic about it. But yeah, 23 characters. What? Actually, 28 characters, because there's actually another 5 slots left for 28. Like, unless those are like the Sonic Prime characters, which I kind of hope they aren't. I hope they're just part of the base game. But otherwise, 23 is a very solid number. Like, this roster will be the largest out of all the Sonic Racing games. It literally blows TSR, Team Sonic Racing, out the water. Because that game only had 15. This had 23. So almost double. And like, that is just crazy. and more will be added, along with Sonic Prime and Sega characters, and that is insane to me. That is like really insane to me. So, how about we go ahead and discuss like what characters I think, like I personally think are gonna be in it. For this one, I'm going to be discussing what Prime characters are gonna be there, what more Sonic characters are gonna be there, and what I think are the Sega characters that are also gonna be there. I'm also gonna give a little bit of honorable mentions as well to like who, like if there's like any more that I can think of. So I think because this is going to be like my shorter list, we'll start with the Sonic Prime characters. Now, for Sonic Prime, and before we talk about Sonic Prime characters, I just want to give a little bit of a, like, not like a disclaimer. I watched the first 2 seasons of Sonic Prime in its entirety. I only watched like 1 or 2 episodes of season 3, so I don't really know much about season 3. And judging the response, aka like not a lot of people liking it, I am kind of worried. I may check it out. So as for Sonic Prime, I'm gonna be thinking of 3 characters, like thoughts and feelings. The first character, and I think this is gonna be the obvious one, is 9. I think 9 is the obvious Sonic Prime pick. He was one of the first characters. He was one of the very first characters introduced to being Sonic's sidekick. He was in most of the trailers. In season 3, in the season 3 trailers, he was shown to be the antagonist of season 3. Like he has a really cool design, and I think he's one of the more marketable Sonic Prime characters. So easily, I can literally say with certainty that 9 is going to be one of our Sonic Prime reps. The second Sonic Prime rep is, in my mind, is Knuckles the Dread. Knuckles the Dread is the pirate version of Knuckles, and he had like an whole arc. Like he was actually one of the more prominent characters of the TV show. Like he had like, I want to say a little bit of a rivalry with Sonic. I don't really know, but I legitimately think that I actually really like the pirate arc myself, because I think the season finale of season 1, it literally gave us Robot Pirate Island. Like how SpongeBob and Patrick were imagining. It was literally Robot Pirate Island. I'm sorry, that episode was awesome. Like, the whole action scene was awesome. So, honestly, I would really like to see Knuckles the Dread as the second Sonic Prime character. And the third Sonic Prime character is actually kind of a tie between 3 characters, actually. The first one is Rusty Rose, because that was the character that caught a lot of people's eye when she was first introduced. Like so many people were obsessed with Rusty Rose. The second one was Chaos Sonic, which I think is literally like Sonic in his chaos form, and I think he was really he pretty much quipped like Sonic. He pretty much was cocky like Sonic. So I think that would be kind of cool. And the third character would have to be one of the Eggmen. Maybe it would be Mr. Dr. Eggman, because he's the leader of everybody. So those are my 3. Now, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, many people want to see Prime Sonic and Prime Shadow, and I'm I don't know, because if there's ever a duplicate character, there is a duplicate character I'll get to when I talk about Sonic characters, but whenever there's a duplicate character that pretty much has the same personality, I tend to not want to play. I tend to not want those. Like, for example, and that's the same that goes with Prime Sonic, Boom Sonic, and even Werehog Sonic. I just don't really vibe with all those picks because they're like the same. There is a Sonic that I will talk about in the Sonics portion, but I have a reason why I include that Sonic. So those are the Prime Sonic. So yeah, those are the Prime Sonic characters. As for the regular Sonic characters, there's a few actually come to mind, and I'll just give an honorable mention because I can't really talk about these characters without being really ignorant because I've never read the comics. But let's just talk about Tangle and Whisper. Like, I think it would be nice to include the IDW Sonic comics. A lot of people really like the IDW comics. Like, I personally only like just see the characters in their games, so I don't really know much about the IDW comic characters. But if you ever see like Sonic predictions for Sonic Racing Crossworlds, so many people want Tangle and Whisper. Tangle apparently was mentioned in Sonic Forces in a cutscene that I missed, I believe. But I think it would be cool to include those in this type of game since, you know, they're going through different worlds. So it would make sense. Now I got that honorable mention out the way, let's go into my 5 Sonic characters that I think have a chance at being in this game. Now, going back to the duplicate characters, I think I can mention this character first. The first character I think of is Classic Sonic. Now, I'm probably wondering, like, Jason, you want Classic Sonic, but you don't want Prime, Boom, or Werehog Sonic? Yes! Because unlike those iterations, Classic Sonic and Sonic have worked together. Classic Sonic is more mute than Sonic, but would share similar personalities, but being more cutesy about it. I think Classic Sonic is I think there's this vehicle called Retro Future, I believe. Yeah, Retro Future, which is the speed class. I'm seeing this through the fandom because it was actually shown in the beta test, and I feel like that could literally be Classic Sonic's vehicle, the Retro Future. So yeah, I just think like Classic Sonic would be like if you want to include a Sonic, I think Classic Sonic would be good. It would be better than Prime, Boom, and Werehog, because like those are like the same Sonics basically. Classic Sonic is, well, the younger version of Sonic, but is more cutesy and can actually stand out from the regular Sonic. I know Prime Sonic goes through more development, but like, yeah, that's kind of my take. The second character that I feel like could work well in this game is Styx the Badger. Come on, look, me and a lot of other people really miss Styx, as she's like pretty much stuck in the Sonic Boom continuity. The only appearance she had that's not Sonic Boom related was actually Mario Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. I miss Styx. I like her design, I like her personality, how crazy she can be. Like, seeing her race in the car while just spouting out crazy gibberish will just be very funny. And I just think like she would actually work, and it would give many fans of Styx. It would bring back Styx, and like it would make fans happy, and I personally would like Styx to come back. The third character, and this character isn't all that well liked within the community, but if there are villain reps, I think one would definitely be Infinite. Now, yes, many people, a little bit myself including, think Infinite is really lame and kind of edgy. It's mainly because of Forces' writing that makes him kind of lame. But still, like, we haven't seen this man Infinite in so long, and we don't know what happened to Infinite because Sonic Forces doesn't tell us what happens to him. And I feel like Infinite would be like a really cool way to bring him, or like Infinite would want to try to race Sonic and them, and maybe even race Eggman. But like, I just think Infinite would be like a really nice choice just to bring more villain reps. A lot of people give the game, not the game flack, but a lot of people like to complain that Zavok and Zaz got in because like no one really cares for the Deadly Six. I personally don't mind Zavok and Zaz, even though I do think Zavok is kind of a lame villain. But hey, we need lame villains sometimes. Ay. So yeah, like maybe bring Infinite back and have him race along with like Sage and Eggman. Just hope that Infinite doesn't get one shot by Thwomp. If you guys don't know, I will not give any context. The fourth character that I kind of see and a lot of people want to see playable is Chaos. Chaos is one of the minor villains turned major villain. One of the very first, because in Sonic Adventure he was like one of the first minor turned main villains in the game. And like Chaos has like a tragic backstory, but Chaos is also a really fan favorite. And come on, we haven't seen Chaos in so long. Like, wouldn't you guys want to see Chaos be represented well and relevant? But off topic again, because yeah, like Chaos in like a watery machine and like an extreme gear, that would be kind of fun to watch. Like I would, or play as, and it would give like many fans of him a great rejoice. And finally, and the final character, and in my opinion, this character would be perfect for this type of game, is Mephiles. The tagline for Sonic Racing Crossroads is, you get to race on land, air, sea, and you get to go through space and time to get to the goal. And if there's one character besides Silver that focuses a lot on time and using time, it would be Mephiles. They brought back Mephiles in Sonic X Shadow's generation in one of the most incredible boss fights in the entire game, except on hard mode, because screw hard mode. And like, it would give him a purpose to come back, get his lick back on Shadow, and make him come back in time just again to get his lick back. Mephiles is cool. He's a villain that should be represented very well, and a lot of people in the fandom really loved Mephiles. So I think Mephiles would be a great addition for this game. And those are the Sonic characters. I think out of all of them, the character that I think has the most chance is Classic Sonic, because his vehicle is in the game, which is Retro Future. But hey, I wouldn't mind if all of them got in. I mean, come on, all of them getting in, that would be really cool. And also if Tangle and Whisper got in, hey, that's great representation for the IDW comics. But then we get to the Sega properties, and oh boy, I really want to do more than 6, but I'll try to keep it to 5. So 5, and I'll just start with the honorable mention for this. And the honorable mention for the Sega reps would be any of the Yakuza protagonists. I think it's Ichiban, Goro Majima, and Kazuma Kiryu. Because I don't really know much about these protagonists. I've never really played a Yakuza game or seen much of a Yakuza game. I do want to try one, but unless they try to release one for the Switch, I don't know. But like, I feel like since the Yakuza series is like one of the more hugest franchises for like I feel like it would be kind of a missed opportunity. And apparently Ichiban had a car racing minigame in one of his games, so yeah, there's that. But I know like many people really want like any of the Yakuza protagonists, and hey, I think that would be like a really nice inclusion for the game. But now, these 5 Sega characters are characters that I personally love and know. And you know what? Screw the 5 rule. I'm going to give 6. I'm going to bring out 6 because there's so many Sega characters that I really, really would like to see. Well, I'll start with one of the most obvious ones, like with 9 and Classic Sonic. One Sega character I think should kind of be a no-brainer, I say kind of because we don't know, is Ai from Super Monkey Ball. Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble was the latest Monkey Ball game, and Banana Blitz HD and Banana Mania, all 3 of those games included Sonic and his friends as DLC characters, so I feel like it would be a great way to pay the little monkey back. Besides, seeing Sonic and Ai cross paths again would be just very great. Seeing Ai in his banana car would just be really great. Having a track on Super Monkey Ball would also be really cool. So yeah, there's mine with Ai. The next character that I would actually, that I think, and also want to see is Amigo. Like, I think Amigo is hella underrated, let's just say. Amigo is like a very fun party monkey, and Party Central was his latest game that featured a DLC of Sonic songs. Okay, not a DLC, my mistake. There was like 2 Sonic songs in the base game, but then I think 3 were added as DLC, making it like 5 songs in that game with Sonic. So, like Super Monkey Ball, that would be a good way to pay him back. My third Sega pick, and this is completely biased, this is just complete biased, is BD Joe. Like, I would love to see BD Joe whipping his crazy taxi and racing through different crossworlds. And also, I think last year, 2 years ago, I don't know, Sega actually announced that they're actually going to be reviving a lot of series, like, from the grave. Like, I mentioned this during the Sega Superstars Tennis video, that, like, Jet Set Radio, Streets of Rage, and they're releasing a Shinobi game. I might try that out, because Joe Musashi. And they also added not only Jet Set Radio, but Crazy Taxi as well. And I was like, you know, if they're going to add B in Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble as a DLC character, and Axel as well, I was almost going to forget about Axel, then have BD Joe be a racer to promote his upcoming game. That would be great. The fourth character I was actually thinking of, and this is actually a character that I haven't played their games, but I do know who they are, and this is basically a random WTF pick, but I don't care. I would actually laugh and just be like, okay, sure, if they got in, is Hatsune Miku. I've never played much of her rhythm games, but I know, like, so many people are huge Hatsune Miku fans, and I can tell, like, I like her design. She has, like, a very positive attitude, and funnily enough, she was included in the Banana Rumble DLC. So just seeing Hatsune Miku in Sonic Racing Crossworlds would just be the most hilarious thing. I wouldn't say, like, make that happen, Sega, but, like, come on. That would be really, really cool. The fifth character, and this is, I wouldn't say all over the place, but this is kind of like the Yakuza protagonists. And it's also a little bit of a tie like the Sonic Prime characters. And I think this would be great. Is Aegis, Joker, or Morgana. So basically want any Persona rep, because like the Persona series is owned by Atlas, who also works with Sega. So I think having a Persona rep would actually promote their games very nicely. I could see any of the three that I just mentioned being it. Like, I guess Joker or Morgana. Like, Joker can literally team up with Morgana and use like the Morgana mobile or something. And I guess could just pretty much like build a car out of scraps and we could have like another robot, like Metal Sonic and Aegis probably interacting. I don't know. Like, the possibilities are endless with this. And I saved this character for last because I talked about this character a lot during my Jason's Impactful Games series. If you've seen my Jason's Impactful Games series, you know exactly what character I wanted the most. Okay, I mentioned Classic Sonic. I mentioned how I would like to see Styx the Badger, Mephiles, Hatsune Miku for the lulz. I mentioned all of those characters. But this character right here is a character in my heart, that I've wanted the most out of all the characters I mentioned. And that is NiGHTS. NiGHTS has been represented for so many properties, yet they haven't been a playable or teamed up with Sonic in such a long time. Okay, I mean, there's the NiGHTS costume in Sonic Forces. The NiGHTS Chow in the Sonic Frontiers prologue, and in Sonic X Shadow Generations. It's just like, what, like, I feel like if there's any type of game that should have NiGHTS, it would be this game. Like, having NiGHTS playable as a racer, like, that would literally make my day. Like, if, like, all the characters I just mentioned, they're great, they're awesome. If I see NiGHTS in this game, that is gonna be an instant buy for me. Like, that is an instant buy. Even if none of the characters I mentioned go on, even though I think that's like a huge missed opportunity, having NiGHTS in the game for me just would just make my day. NiGHTS has been playable in both Riders games, not counting Free Riders, but we don't really count that game. NiGHTS has been playable in All-Stars Racing Transformed, and I think NiGHTS was going to be playable in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, but due to time restraints, they were the flag person. But, so I feel like NiGHTS being in this game, like, NiGHTS doesn't even have to be in the base game. I would be fine if they were as DLC or something. But, like, that's why I saved NiGHTS for last. Because, like, NiGHTS has a history with me. And I think it would be great to have NiGHTS playable. Oh, and before we move on to the next topic, I just also want to say that there are also, give a little bit more honorable mentions, like Billy Hatcher and Vice. Like, people like to see Billy Hatcher and Vice also be playable in Sonic Racing Crossworlds, and that would be really cool. I mean, unless if it's like a clone, I wouldn't really mind much to see what other Sega characters are out there. Just saying. So yeah, those are all my predictions and thoughts. And let's see if this video is still relevant at the time. I feel like a couple of my picks are like obvious, like 9 is obvious. Classic Sonic I would give an 85 to 90% chance, like all that. But hey, who knows? maybe none of my picks are in there, even though I do think it would be strange not to include 9, even though they're including Sonic Prime characters, but I digress. So yeah, those are my character predictions. Let me know what you think. And then let's move on to tracks. Hey guys, Jason from the future here. Because of how long this video is, and I never really found out how long this video is, I ultimately just decided to cut it off today. So the next video that will come after this will be the types of tracks I'm thinking of, as well as other modes as well. So if you want to know more about that, tune into the next video. But other than that, I'm going to end it off here, and I'll see you guys next time in part 2.